The massive screen at Earth Defense Command Center lit up with dozens of red warning signals. Admiral James Walker stood before it, his weathered face illuminated by the flashing alerts. The energy readings from the edge of the solar system were unlike anything their sensors had ever detected before. "Sir, the signatures are moving in a clear formation," reported Lieutenant Tom Wilson from his monitoring station. "These are definitely ships, and they're big. Much bigger than anything we've built." Walker nodded slowly, his mind already racing through possible scenarios. Humanity had achieved faster-than-light travel just 5 years ago, but they had been careful to keep their explorations secret. They knew they weren't alone in the galaxy. They just weren't ready to announce themselves yet. "Get me the president," Walker ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "And activate Protocol 7. Within minutes, defense platforms around Earth hummed to life, their presence hidden by advanced cloaking technology. Humanity had learned early on that it was better to be prepared than sorry. The alien fleet appeared first as bright points of light in the sky, visible even during daytime. Their massive ships, each the size of a small city, took up positions around Earth's orbit. The design was both beautiful and threatening, smooth silver hulls with pulsing blue energy lines running across their surface. The first transmission came through on all frequencies, in perfect English. "People of Earth, we are representatives of the Galactic Empire. We come in peace to welcome you into our grand civilization." Walker watched from the command center as the UN assembled an emergency session. He had been chosen to lead the diplomatic team, though every instinct told him to keep Earth's military on high alert. The meeting was set in Geneva. The Imperial representatives arrived in a smaller ship, landing with theatrical precision on the designated pad. Walker stood with other Earth officials as 3 figures emerged. They looked surprisingly human-like, except for their silvery skin and height. Each was at least 7 feet tall. "I am High Commander Roland of the Imperial Fleet," the center figure announced. "We have come to offer Earth membership in the greatest civilization in the galaxy." Walker stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth. I'm Admiral James Walker, representing the United Earth Defense Force." The meeting proceeded into a grand conference room. As presentations began about the Empire's achievements and benefits, Walker noticed something in the Imperial representatives' expressions when Earth's own space capabilities were mentioned. "You've achieved independent FTL travel." Roland interrupted a technical briefing, his silver features showing clear surprise. "Yes, about 5 years ago," Walker replied calmly. "We've been exploring nearby systems carefully." The Imperial representatives exchanged quick glances. Walker had seen that look before. It was the same look predators gave when sizing up unexpected prey. "Most impressive," Roland said smoothly. "Though our Imperial drive systems are far more advanced, we can help you improve." "Our systems work well enough," Walker interrupted. "We've developed some unique solutions." As the meeting continued, Walker's teams detected increased activity from the Imperial fleet. Hidden sensors showed them scanning Earth extensively, paying particular attention to military installations and power plants. That evening, in a secure underground facility, Walker met with Earth's leadership. "They're not here to welcome us," he reported. "Their fleet is in attack formation, masked as a diplomatic stance. They've also been trying to hack our systems since they arrived." "What do you suggest?" the president asked. "We don't show all our cards yet," Walker replied. "But we need to prepare for the worst. The way they reacted to our FTL technology suggests they're used to finding and absorbing less advanced civilizations. We're not following their script. Activate all the defenses." "Not yet. Let them think we're just another primitive world with a lucky FTL breakthrough. Meanwhile, we'll get everything ready, because I don't think they're going to take no for an answer when they finally make their real demands." As Walker left the meeting, he looked up at the night sky where the Imperial ships loomed. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades, even before they knew for sure aliens existed. They had hidden weapons in asteroid belts, bases under the ocean, and satellites behind cloaking shields. The Empire thought they were dealing with just another primitive species to add to their collection. They were about to learn that humanity had some surprises in store. 3 days after first contact, High Commander Roland requested another meeting. This time, he brought a large black cube that floated beside him as he entered the UN chamber. Admiral Walker watched from his seat as the Imperial commander took the podium. The room was packed with representatives from every nation, all waiting to hear what the Empire wanted. "People of Earth," Roland began, his silver skin gleaming under the lights. "The Empire has reviewed your civilization carefully. We are now prepared to present our formal offer of membership." The black cube hummed to life, projecting a massive hologram of the galaxy. Thousands of green dots marked Imperial worlds, making Earth's position on the outer rim look very small and isolated. "The Empire offers protection, trade, and technological advancement," Roland continued. "All we require is that Earth accepts Imperial leadership and shares all its technological developments, particularly your interesting approach to faster-than-light travel." Walker noticed the slight pause. He had spent enough time studying the Imperial ships to know why they were so interested. Earth's FTL drives were different. They didn't leave the energy signature that Imperial ships did. They were harder to track. "And if we choose to remain independent?" asked the UN secretary. Roland's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Then, sadly, we would have to implement a full quarantine of your system. No trade, no contact with other worlds. For safety reasons, of course." The chamber erupted in whispers. Walker's secure tablet buzzed silently. He glanced down at the message from Earth's orbital defense network. Imperial ships were moving into new positions around the planet. "We'll need time to consider this offer," the secretary responded diplomatically. "Of course," Roland said. "You have 48 hours. After the Imperial delegation left, Walker hurried to the emergency council chamber deep underground. His assistant, Mary Parker, met him at the door with urgent news. "Sir, we found something," she said, handing him a datapad. "The encryption team broke into some Imperial communications. You need to see this." Walker's face darkened as he read. The pad showed images of other worlds that had refused Imperial membership. They weren't quarantined. They were conquered. The Empire's peaceful facade hid a brutal truth. "There's more," Mary continued. "Our deep space scanners detected Imperial devices being placed throughout the solar system. They're setting up a containment net." In the council chamber, Earth's leaders gathered around a holographic display showing the Imperial ships' positions. General Stone, commander of ground forces, pointed to several key locations. "They're positioning for a full invasion," he explained. "These formations match historical patterns from other conquered worlds. They're not planning to take no for an answer." "What about the monitoring devices they're placing?" Walker asked. Dr. Thompson, their lead scientist, brought up another display. "They're trying to map our defenses, but they can't detect anything through our cloaking shields. They think we're nearly defenseless." The president stood up. "How long until our full defensive network is ready?" 24 hours, Walker replied. "We can have everything in place before their deadline. And our special projects." Dr. Thompson smiled. "The new shields are ready. They won't know what hit them." Walker left the meeting feeling grimly satisfied. On his way back to command, he stopped to look at one of the Imperial ships hanging in the evening sky. Their size was meant to intimidate, but size wasn't everything. Back at his post, Walker received another troubling report. The Empire had already begun secretly landing small teams on Earth. They were probably setting up invasion points, not knowing that every movement was being tracked by hidden sensors. "Let them think we're blind," Walker muttered. "Let them think we're weak." He looked at the latest scan of Imperial ship positions. They were so confident in their superiority that they didn't even try to hide their offensive formation. The Empire had conquered countless worlds this way, but Earth had something none of those other planets had: advance warning and time to prepare. The next 48 hours would change everything. The Empire thought they were giving Earth time to accept their demands. Instead, they were giving humanity time to finish setting its trap. The massive doors of Earth's hidden Mars base slid open for the first time in 15 years. Deep beneath the red planet's surface, rows of sleek warships powered up their engines. Similar scenes played out across the solar system as humanity revealed its true military strength. Admiral Walker stood in the command center, watching the status reports flood in. "Begin Protocol Guardian," he ordered. "All stations report." "Europa Base online," came the first response. "Submarine fleet ready for launch." "Lunar Defense Grid activated." "Mars fleet reporting ready." "Titan Base standing by." One by one, Earth's hidden forces came to life. For decades, humanity had prepared for this moment, building bases and ships in secret while appearing peaceful to any watching eyes. Dr. Thompson rushed into the command center, her eyes bright with excitement. "The shield modifications are complete," she announced. "We've adapted the technology to counter their main weapons. Their energy beams should bounce right off." Walker nodded. "How many ships have been upgraded?" "All of them. The automated factories work through the night. Every ship, every base, and every Thunder Walker suit has the new shields." The Thunder Walkers were humanity's secret weapon. 30-foot-tall mechanical suits that could fight in space or on the ground. They had been testing them in underground facilities for years, waiting for the right moment. In cities across Earth, people went about their daily lives, unaware of the massive military buildup happening in secret. The government had decided not to cause panic. As far as the public knew, diplomatic talks with the Empire were going well. Deep under the Pacific Ocean, General Stone inspected the 1st Division of Thunder Walkers. The massive suits stood in rows, their black armor gleaming under the lights. Each one could match an Imperial dropship in combat. "All pilots to their stations," Stone ordered. "This isn't a drill anymore." Above Earth, the Imperial ships continued their surveillance, still unable to detect anything through Earth's cloaking technology. Their small probe ships passed right over hidden bases and defense platforms, seeing nothing but empty space or barren rock. Back at command, Walker received an urgent message from their spies. "Sir, we've intercepted Imperial communications. They're planning to strike before their deadline. They'll attack in 6 hours." "Perfect," Walker replied. "That gives us just enough time. Send the code to all commands. Operation Thunderstorm is now active." Across the solar system, Earth's forces moved into position. Ships hidden in asteroid belts powered up their engines. Defense platforms aimed their weapons. Thunder Walker units took up positions in strategic locations. Dr. Thompson worked with her team to monitor the shield systems. "The Empire's going to get a nasty surprise when they realize their weapons don't work," she said with a grim smile. "Their entire strategy depends on their superior firepower." In his private office, Walker reviewed the final defense plans. Earth's ships were smaller than the Empire's, but they were faster and more maneuverable. They had studied Imperial tactics for days, finding weaknesses in their formation patterns. "Status report on civilian evacuation," he called out. "All major cities have their underground shelters ready," Mary responded. "We can move millions of people to safety within minutes of the first attack." The hours ticked by as humanity prepared for its greatest test. Every person at their station knew what was at stake. Not just Earth's freedom, but the chance to show the galaxy that the Empire wasn't invincible. Walker looked at the clock. 2 hours until the expected attack. He thought about all the years of preparation, all the secret tests and hidden construction. The Empire thought they were dealing with a primitive civilization that had gotten lucky with FTL technology. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "Send word to all commands," Walker ordered. "The Empire wants to see our strength. Let's give them a demonstration they'll never forget." Above Earth, the Imperial ships began moving into attack position, unaware that they were being watched by countless hidden sensors. They thought they were about to launch a surprise attack. Instead, They were flying straight into humanity's trap. The Imperial fleet made their first move at dawn. Hundreds of dropships descended toward Earth's major cities, expecting no resistance. High Commander Roland watched from his flagship, already planning how he would accept Earth's surrender. Then everything went wrong for the Empire. The seemingly empty space around Earth suddenly sparked to life. Defense platforms appeared out of nowhere, their cloaking shields dropping as they opened fire. Bright blue energy beams cut through the first wave of dropships. All units, engage. Admiral Walker commanded from Earth Defense Headquarters. Show them what humanity can do. The moon's surface rippled as hidden hangar doors opened. Earth's own fleet rose to meet the Imperial ships, their new shields glowing as they absorbed enemy fire. Walker watched the tactical display as the battle unfolded in space. "Sir," Lieutenant Wilson called out, "Imperial forces have breached the atmosphere. They're heading for New York, London, and Tokyo. Deploy the Thunder Walkers," Walker ordered. In Tokyo, people ran for the underground shelters as Imperial ships filled the sky. But before the ships could land, massive metal figures rose from hidden bunkers throughout the city. The Thunderwalkers stood tall, their black armor reflecting the morning sun. Captain Mike Rogers led the Tokyo defense from his Thunderwalker. "All units, protect the evacuation routes. Don't let them near the civilians." The Imperial troops were not prepared for what happened next. Their energy weapons bounced harmlessly off the Thunderwalker's shields. In return, Earth's mechanical warriors unleashed a devastating counterattack. Imperial dropships fell from the sky as precise shots from human weapons found their weak points. Above the Earth, the space battle grew more intense. Imperial commanders couldn't understand why their supposedly superior ships were being outmaneuvered by Earth's smaller vessels. They didn't know that humanity had spent years studying alien combat tactics through secret observations. "Their formations are breaking," Mary reported to Walker. "Our ships are faster and more maneuverable. They can't adapt to our attack patterns." In London, General Stone coordinated the ground defense. The Thunderwalkers moved through the streets, engaging Imperial forces with devastating effect. The alien troops had expected to fight normal soldiers. Instead, they faced 30-foot-tall walking tanks that their weapons couldn't damage. "Push them back," Stone ordered. "Don't let them establish a foothold." The Imperial forces tried to set up landing zones in city parks and wide streets, but hidden defense turrets emerged from buildings and underground bunkers, forcing the alien ships to retreat under heavy fire. High Commander Roland watched in growing horror as his invasion force was torn apart. "Impossible," he shouted on the command bridge. "Their technology shouldn't be this advanced." Walker received reports from all fronts. The Thunderwalkers had secured major cities. Earth's fleet was pushing back the Imperial ships. The new shields were working perfectly, making Imperial weapons almost useless. "Sir," Mary called out, "we're detecting power surges in the Imperial fleet. They're preparing to use their heavy weapons." "Just as we expected," Walker smiled. "Signal all ships. Execute Pattern Delta." As the Imperial ships charged their main guns, Earth's fleet scattered in what looked like panic. The Empire fired their devastating energy weapons, but the human ships weren't there anymore. They had studied Imperial weapon patterns and knew exactly how to dodge them. "Counterattack now," Walker commanded. Earth's ships reappeared behind the Imperial fleet, catching them in a deadly crossfire. More Imperial ships fell as their overcharged weapons left them vulnerable to attack. By sunset, the first battle was over. The Imperial invasion force retreated in disorder, leaving damaged ships and defeated ground troops behind. Earth had won the first round. In the command center, Walker watched the Imperial fleet regroup at the edge of the solar system. "They'll be back," he said, "with more ships and new tactics. But now they know. Earth isn't an easy target." The battle was won, but the war was just beginning. Humanity had revealed its true strength, and the Empire would not take this defeat lightly. Dr. Thompson hadn't slept in 3 days. She stood in her lab, surrounded by holographic displays showing captured Imperial technology. Something about their FTL drive system had been bothering her, and finally, she saw it. "Get me Admiral Walker," she called out to her assistant. "I found their weakness." In the command center, Walker was reviewing reports from the latest battles. The Empire had returned with larger fleets, just as expected. Earth was holding them off, but the constant attacks were draining their resources. Dr. Thompson burst into the room, her eyes bright with excitement. "They're FTL drives," she said, pulling up a technical display. "They all use the same frequency to create their jump points. If we can disrupt that frequency, we can trap their ships in normal space." Walker finished, understanding immediately. "How fast can we build the disruptors?" "The first one is already ready for testing." Meanwhile, in space, Captain Lisa Hayes commanded Earth's newest weapon, a captured Imperial dreadnought. Her crew had spent weeks learning to control the massive ship, understanding its systems from the inside out. "Target their command ship," Hayes ordered. "They won't expect one of their own ships to attack them." The stolen dreadnought moved into position, its Imperial identification codes preventing the enemy from recognizing it as a threat until it was too late. Earth's modified weapons had been installed behind its Imperial armor, giving it surprising power. Walker watched the battle unfold while preparing for Operation Firewall, the mission that would test Dr. Thompson's discovery. If it worked, they could prevent Imperial ships from escaping. "Sir," Mary reported, "we're picking up transmissions from other systems. Other species are watching our battles against the Empire. They're interested in how we're fighting back." This was unexpected but welcome news. The Empire's iron grip on the galaxy was based on fear and superior technology. If Earth could show their technology wasn't unbeatable. "Launch Operation Firewall," Walker commanded. "All ships, prepare to engage." The trap was set in the asteroid belt. Earth's ships made a show of retreating, drawing the Imperial fleet into position. As the Empire's ships moved in for what they thought was a killing blow, Dr. Thompson activated her device. The effect was immediate. Imperial ships suddenly found themselves unable to create jump points. Their main escape route was cut off. "All ships, attack," Walker ordered. The Earth fleet emerged from hiding spots throughout the asteroid belt, surrounding the trapped Imperial forces. Captain Hayes led the assault in the captured dreadnought, her crew now experts at exploiting Imperial ship weaknesses. "Target their engine cores," she ordered. "Don't let them regroup." The battle was fierce but one-sided. Without their ability to make quick FTL jumps, Imperial ships lost their main tactical advantage. Earth's smaller, more maneuverable ships picked them apart one by one. High Commander Roland watched in horror from his flagship as his fleet was decimated. "Impossible," he shouted. "They're primitives. How could they understand our technology so quickly?" The answer came in the form of Earth ships breaching his flagship's defenses. Thunder Walker units, launched from stealth carriers, cut their way into the massive ship. The Empire's best technology couldn't stop determined humans in advanced mechanical suits. As the battle ended, Walker received more interesting news. The communications team had picked up messages from resistance movements on other worlds. They wanted to know how Earth had managed to defeat Imperial forces. "Send them the shield specifications," Walker ordered, "and the FTL disruptor plans. Let's show the galaxy that the Empire isn't invincible." Dr. Thompson's discovery had changed everything. The Empire's greatest advantage, their ability to appear and disappear at will using FTL drives, was now their greatest weakness. "They'll adapt eventually," Dr. Thompson warned. "But by then, it will be too late. We've shown everyone their weakness." Walker looked at the tactical display, showing Imperial forces retreating from the solar system. This wasn't just a victory for Earth anymore. It was the beginning of something bigger, a galaxy-wide revolution against the Empire. The Empire had wanted to absorb Earth into their dominion. Instead, they had awakened a force that would eventually tear their empire apart. Messages poured in from across the galaxy. Every day, more alien species contacted Earth, asking for help in fighting the Empire. Admiral Walker stood before the United Earth Council, explaining the changing situation. The Centaur worlds have already overthrown their imperial governors, he reported. The Alpha system is in full rebellion, and the mining colonies in the Orion Belt have seized control of their planets. The council chamber displayed a galaxy map showing spreading rebellion in green, while imperial control remained in red. The green areas were growing larger every day. They're using our shield designs and FTL disruptors, Dr. Thompson added. The Empire can't stop all of them at once. Captain Hayes, now commanding Earth's growing fleet of captured Imperial ships, appeared on a comm screen. Sir, the rebel fleet from Proxima System has arrived. They want to coordinate attacks with us. Walker had been expecting this. Earth's successful resistance had turned them into a symbol of hope. Now it was time to turn that hope into organized action. Tell them to send their representatives, he ordered. It's time we formed a proper alliance. The meeting took place on a neutral space station. Representatives from 12 different species gathered to plan the galaxy's future. Some were tall and metallic like the Imperial leaders. Others were completely alien in appearance, but all shared the same goal: freedom from the Empire. Earth has shown us the way, said the Centauri leader, a crystalline being that sparkled as it spoke. But we need to work together to finish this. Walker presented Earth's battle plans. The Empire is struggling to fight on multiple fronts. If we coordinate our attacks, we can cut their supply lines and isolate their fleet groups. Dr. Thompson shared more technological breakthroughs. We've improved the shield designs, and we found ways to detect Imperial spy devices. No more surprise attacks. The alien representatives were impressed. In just a few months, humans had developed counters to Imperial technology that had dominated the galaxy for centuries. But how do we protect our civilian populations? Asked another alien leader. The Empire will attack our worlds in revenge. That's why we need to strike first, Walker explained. Hit their military bases before they can gather their forces. Earth will lead the attack. The plan was bold but necessary. The Empire was already burning rebel worlds, trying to scare others into submission. They had to be stopped before more innocent lives were lost. Captain Hayes led the first combined fleet action. Earth ships flew alongside alien vessels, their crews learning to work together despite their differences. The Imperial border stations didn't stand a chance against their combined strength. All ships, form up, Hayes commanded. Earth Squadron will lead. Rebel forces protect our flanks. Show them what freedom fighters can do. The battle was swift and decisive. The Imperial forces, used to fighting scared and disorganized rebels, found themselves facing a coordinated enemy using their own captured technology against them. Back on Earth, Walker received news of more systems declaring independence. The Empire's grip on the galaxy was weakening. Their once mighty fleets were scattered, trying to fight rebels on too many fronts. Sir, Mary reported, Imperial propaganda networks are going dark. Their citizens are starting to question their leadership. In his private office, Walker looked at photos from rebel worlds, aliens celebrating their freedom, Imperial flags being torn down, Earth ships being welcomed as liberators. The Empire had wanted to crush human independence. Instead, they had created a force that would destroy their power forever. Dr. Thompson entered with more good news. The rebel scientists are amazing, she said. Working together, we found ways to improve everything. Weapons, shields, even FTL drives. We're already better than the Empire. The final battle was approaching. The Rebel Alliance grew stronger each day, while the Empire grew weaker. Walker knew they couldn't stop now. Freedom for one world meant nothing unless all worlds were free. Send word to the fleet, he ordered. Tell them to prepare for the biggest battle yet. We're taking the fight to the Imperial capital. The revolution that started with Earth's defiance was about to change the galaxy forever. The combined rebel fleet gathered near Earth, 10,000 ships from 50 different worlds. It was the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. Admiral Walker stood on the bridge of the flagship, Earth's Hope, watching the final preparations. All fleet groups report ready, Captain Hayes announced from her command station. The Imperial capital's defenses are strong, but we have the numbers now. The Empire had retreated to their core systems, abandoning outer worlds in a desperate attempt to protect their capital. Their once mighty empire had shrunk to a fraction of its former size. Dr. Thompson's final report. Mary handed Walker a datapad. The new weapons are installed on all ships. The Empire won't be able to block these. Walker addressed the combined fleet, his words translated into dozens of alien languages. Today we end the Empire's tyranny. Not just for Earth, not just for any single world, but for every free being in the galaxy. The fleet jumped into FTL, using Earth's improved drive system. Thousands of ships moved as one, appearing at the edge of the Imperial capital system. The Empire's home fleet waited for them. 5,000 ships of their own. They still outnumber us 2-1, Hayes observed. Walker smiled. Numbers aren't everything. All ships. Execute Operation Freedom. The battle began with a surprise. The rebel fleet split into smaller groups, each attacking from a different angle. Imperial commanders tried to coordinate their defense, but Earth's tactical planning was superior. Thunder Walker units launched from carrier ships, their improved suits now capable of space combat. They targeted the Imperial flagship, cutting through its defenses like they had done in that first battle over Earth. High Commander Roland watched in horror as his fleet fell into chaos. Earth ships led each attack group, showing other rebel ships how to exploit Imperial weaknesses. The strategies that had won 1,000 battles for the Empire were now being used against them. Their shields are failing, Hayes reported. The new weapons work perfectly. Push the attack. The battle raged for hours. Imperial ships fell one by one, their once feared weapons useless against the combined technology of 50 worlds. Dr. Thompson's discoveries, shared freely with all rebel worlds, had changed the balance of power forever. On the Imperial capital planet, citizens watched their mighty fleet fall. The propaganda networks couldn't hide the truth anymore. The Empire was losing. Already, there were talks of surrender. The Imperial Palace is sending a signal, Mary announced. They want to discuss terms. Walker had expected this. The Empire's leaders had always been practical. When faced with total defeat, they would try to save themselves. Tell them our terms are simple, Walker replied. Complete surrender, freedom for all worlds, and they stand trial for their crimes. The Empire's response came within minutes. They surrendered. As rebel ships landed on the capital world, Walker remembered that first meeting with Imperial representatives on Earth. They had thought humans would be easy to conquer. Instead, humanity had shown the galaxy how to be free. 1 month later, representatives from all free worlds gathered on Earth. The Imperial Palace had been abandoned, its leaders now facing justice. It was time to build something new. We propose a free systems alliance, Walker addressed the gathering. Not an empire, but a partnership of equals. Each world governs itself, but we stand together against any future threats. The agreement was signed immediately. Centuries of imperial rule ended not with a final battle, but with the beginning of peace. Dr. Thompson's team continued sharing technology with other worlds. We're stronger together, she explained. Every species has something to teach us. Captain Hayes led the new Alliance peacekeeping fleet, a combination of ships from all member worlds. The Thunderwalkers became a symbol of freedom, their design shared with allies who adapted it to their own needs. Years later, Walker stood at Earth Defense Command, looking at a new galaxy map. Where Imperial Red had once dominated, now there were hundreds of colors representing free, independent worlds. Earth's defiance had started more than a rebellion. It had sparked a new age of freedom and cooperation. The Empire had wanted to add Earth to their collection of conquered worlds. Instead, they had found the one world that would unite the galaxy against them. Humanity's strength had never been in weapons or technology, but in their unbreakable spirit of freedom, a spirit they had shared with the entire galaxy.